Hey everybody, this is Troy with eBuzz Central. Today we're going to be doing a video covering the 5 Linux distributions you need to watch in 2022. Starting that list off is going to be Cutefish OS. We're looking at their newest beta, which is 0.7, and this brings a lot of adjustments, changes, and quality of life improvements that I think you're going to love. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. If you download Cutefish OS, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine, and boot it up, this is what you're going to be looking at. Now, if you notice right off the bat, you can already tell that up on the top bar, they've already made some quality of life improvements with the notification center, with your battery, turning your Wi-Fi on or off. You still got your dock down here, but what I'm going to do real quick is we're going to zip on over and take a look at the change notes for this release. And if we take a look at the changes that they've made in this release, first comes with the settings. Wi-Fi support now gives you the ability to connect to hidden networks. Default applications have been changed. There are a few of them different, and I'll show them to you here in a little bit. Notifications now have a Do Not Disturb mode, which they didn't in the previous beta. New natural scrolling option for the touchpad. And System Update Graphic User Interface has been updated. Now on File Manager, you now have an option for safe removal of USB drives. You can uninstall disk partitions if you don't need them. You also got User Interface Detail Improvements. Run application shortcuts from desktop files. And now there's support for shortcut key Control-Z to undo an operation. On Launchpad, you also have the ability to uninstall with a right click. Desktop improvements, they've added a font configuration area to the desktop backend to solve the abnormal display of fonts in some scenarios that users have been having. Support for high resolution in the login interface, the SDDM is now high res. Support for dragging and dropping files to the dock trash. They added a GTK theme to make the GTA application more integrated with Cutefish OS's style. And then a couple bug fixes when operating the desktop for the first time. The dock trash status is abnormal. And File Manager keyboard initial search roles to current item. So those are some of the things that have been updated and changes and bug fixes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the desktop and take a look around and kind of show you what Cutefish is evolving into. Okay, we are back to the desktop. Notice down here we don't have the issue with trash showing that it already has trash in it. That's one of the bug fixes. And then if you go to the application launcher, you've got your applications up here. You've got the Chromium browser. You've got document viewer. You've got file manager, image viewer. Now, you do have the ability now that if you right click, you have the ability now to remove it from the dock or uninstall it. That's one of the changes they've come up with. So you can uninstall this application without having to go into your software center or anything like that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back to the desktop. I did change the wallpaper because the other one is a little bright. But your panel up here, you can switch to desktop if you've got things open. And we looked at this a while ago. There's your new notification center. And of course, your Wi-Fi on. You can turn dark mode on or off with a click now. And then your battery level, date and time. And then of course your volume control. Or you can go directly to settings now. And with your settings, we'll go ahead and maximize that. Wireless is searching right now. It shows that it's on, but because I'm in a virtual box and we're using Ethernet, I'm going to go ahead and switch that off. And then you've got your Ethernet, Bluetooth, and proxy. Now you can notice over here, this is a little bit better looking now. It seems to fit the screen resolution better than it did in prior releases, which I think is great. It's definitely a change in the right direction for Cutefish and just really making this operating system more aesthetically pleasing to use. Then you've got your display. It's set on 1920. You have scaling factors from 100% all the way up to 200%. And then you can rotate it. If you're using a secondary monitor and you've got it flipped on its side, you can rotate it any way you want. And then appearance, light theme, dark theme, system effects are on, dim wallpapers are on. Now, I do want to point this out. I did have a few people that have used Cutefish before, and their problem was that their dock wasn't showing rounded corners. Now, if you come down to the bottom, you can see now that your dock is showing rounded corners. So they're getting this operating system where it needs to be. So if you haven't tried Cutefish in a while, this new 0.7 beta update is definitely something. If I were you, I would go download and try. And then you can minimize animation. You can go to default. You can make it magic lamp, or you can change your accent colors right here. And then you've got fonts. You can adjust your fonts here from small, medium, large to huge. Hinting, you can set it on slight, you can turn it off, that's up to you. And then of course, selecting your font and changing the size of it up here. And then you've got your backgrounds. Like I said, I already changed it. It comes out of the box with this one right here. I went to a little darker one so it's easier to see. And then of course, you've got a setting for your dock. You can move it to the center. You can make it a full dock and make it go all the way across, or just leave it on center. I like leaving it on center, and then you can change the position. You can make it from the bottom. You can put it on the left if you would like, or you can put it on the right. That's truly up to you. I would probably, if I was using this as a daily driver, I would move it to the right because screens today are wider than they all are, and it just gives you more room to work with. And then down on system, you got users, notifications, sound, mouse, date and time, language, battery, power, and about. I'm going to go ahead and close out of settings. And then you can come down here. Let's go ahead and open up that file manager. And now it seems like the file manager has the nice rounded corners now. I've used this in the past and the rounded corners weren't showing as well. So this is definitely an update. And you can tell right here, you got your usual suspects in your home folders right here. This is definitely a beautiful operating system. Now what I do like about it is Cutefish does come with the global menu out of the box. And it works for most applications. It still doesn't work with Firefox, but that's something in the future they can work on. Let's go ahead and close that. Now, if you open up Chromium, once it opens, you can see it's up here. And if you drag this down, you get the global menu for Chromium as well. So that's just something, especially if you're used to using a Mac, that if you wanted to give Linux a try, or you're wanting to leave Mac and come over to Linux, that if you downloaded Cutefish and you want to use it, it's just going to make it a little bit more comfortable and make you feel a little bit more at home. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. Come down to here and open Terminal. Go ahead and see if they have HTOP installed. They do not. Let's check top. Right now, I have this machine issued about 2.5 gigabytes of RAM. We are presently using 800 at rest with just the terminal open. And another thing that I'm noticing here, yes, they've made some changes to the terminal, because the last time I looked at this in beta, it was transparent and it was really hard to read anything here. So what they've done is they've lowered the transparency on the background and changed the color of the font. So that's a definite plus, because the last time I looked at this, you could barely read what was inside the terminal. They are definitely listening to feedback. So let's close out of that. And then down here, of course, you got your package installer, which is your Debian package installer. Download a deb file offline, drag it into here, and it would install it on your system. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. But that's just a brief look at Cutefish OS, the new 0.7 beta. I recommend you zip on over, download it. I'll make sure to include that link in the description below, because it's not on their website. They have it at a different place to download. Zip on over, download it, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine. Give it a test drive. See what you think about it. But it's definitely an OS you need to keep your eye on in 2022. Number 4 on my list is Xero Linux. Xero Linux is very interesting. It's got a great start in the Linux community. It's got a great KDE version, GNOME version just released, and XFCE. Now, Xero Linux's website is xerolinux.xyz. I'll be sure to put that in the description below. But when you come to their site, this is what you see. You've got up top, home, about. You've got different editions. You got the gallery, you got forum, and it basically says, if you like eye candy, this is for you. And then it gives you a little bit about Xero Linux main edition, which is the KDE, Xero Linux GNOME, which is going to be coming out here shortly, and then Xero Linux XFCE. And basically it says the XFCE version was built for those that don't have powerful enough hardware, or maybe they're running on a little bit older hardware that won't run the flagship version of Xero Linux. So they've come out with this to kind of give you that eye candy, but with the XFCE interface. And then you scroll down and it's got the information here, release notes on each distribution, and then some Rice themes, and then Grub themes. And then down here you have a gallery. So that's pretty much their website. It's a very beautiful website, functional, and has a lot of information. You've got your forum up here should you have any problems. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to zip on over and take a look at the distribution. Okay, if you download Xero Linux, XFCE, throw it on a USB, or put it into a virtual machine and boot into it. This is the screen you're met with. It has kind of a holiday theme going on. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and right click, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the snow that's coming down. So all you got to do is go to Applications, go to System, go to Task Manager, open that up, look for X Snow, right click on it and kill that process. Let's kill it. Yes. And the snow goes away. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and swap that background out for something a little lighter. There we go. So like I said, this is the screen you're going to be met with. You're going to get the Xero Linux welcome, which has the Start Xero Linux installer, Start Installer Debug Mode, VMware Tools, Launch Partition Manager, check for system updates, change display resolution. This actually worked really good in VirtualBox. I had a couple issues with it in GNOME boxes, so I just went with VirtualBox so we could go ahead and do a review on it. As you can tell, up top, you've got a single panel. Down bottom, you have a dock. If you right-click, you get Create Launcher, Create URL, Folder, Document. You can open a terminal here. Ownership is root, desktop settings, and then, of course, applications. What I'm going to do real quick is go ahead and run the terminal, and let's see what kind of system resources we're using here. I'm going to see if they have htop installed, and they do not, so let's see if they have top. And it is running. At present, I have 3 gigabytes of RAM issued to this virtual machine. At rest with just the terminal and the welcome window open, you're running about 553 megabytes, which is pretty light, guys. So, I mean, if you shut a couple things down, you would probably be right at 500, maybe below it. It's not as light as some of the ones I've seen that run about 200-300 megs, but this is definitely something if you're presently running something that's on maybe a little outdated hardware or maybe some older hardware. This is a system you can put right on it and be able to get things done, and it's gorgeous to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this terminal, and we're going to go ahead and pull the welcome window back down, and I'm going to go ahead and close out of it because there's nothing we need to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and let's go ahead and look at desktop settings. Right here, you've got your choice of a couple different wallpapers. Not a plethora of them, but some good looking wallpapers. Let's see that one. That's a good looking wallpaper. I think I'll leave that one up. And that one looks kind of like one I think that's on Windows 11, but I could be wrong. And then you go over to menus. Your desktop menu, you can include application menu on the desktop. You can show application icons in the menu. And then your window list menu, different ways to customize it. And then you can go to icons. You can adjust your icon size here. You can have your icon orientation change. If you've got your icons on your desktop and you like them there, if you want them on the right-hand side, you just go over here and go top right horizontal and arrange them. And it'll move it over here so your icons would list over here as opposed to over there. But that's up to you. That's up to your personal preference. So let's go ahead and close out of that and close out of that. On the top panel up here, if you click, you've got show full history for your clipboard or clipman settings. Then you have your updates that if you click on that, will let you know you have 62 available updates. Let's drag this over here. We can go full screen. And right there would be the updates that you want. And as you can tell, he has the icon pack that has the snow. So it's got kind of a wintry holiday feel to it, but you can change those if you don't want them. And then if you go up here to the hamburger menu, let's check the preferences. Go to third party. And what you'll want to do over here is definitely enable the AUR support. And then, of course, check for updates. And if you scroll down and you're a fan of Flatpaks or snaps, you can enable those there as well. So let's go ahead and go back over to General and close out. But this is where you would come to not only update your system, but also a place to come to install any kind of software or applications that you wanted. All you'd have to do is go up here and you could pick a category, or you could actually do a search. Come over here and type something like OBS, hit enter. It should bring up the AUR version, OBS Studio browser. So yes, your OBS is brought into this area right here. But once you refresh your mirrors and update your repositories, it will generally list just OBS. So I'm going to go back up to all and go ahead and close out of that. And then, of course, you've got sound. And then right here, you got a little area that shows CPU usage and your RAM usage. You got date time right here. And then over here, you got your 2 different desktops. If you had something open, let's say like File Manager, and you wanted to go to your second desktop, you can open that up and do your work over here. So let's go back over to our first desktop, and this is Thunar File Manager. And if you look right here, the top bar does have some transparency. I kind of like that look. But Thunar is a great little file manager. It's got your usual suspects over here, your home folders right here, and it's just a light, fast file manager that stays out of your way and lets you get your work done. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And we've already looked at the XFC terminal, and then you have Firefox as your web browser. Now, if we right click over here, go back down to applications, I want to go to system and see if we can find the settings. Matter of fact, the settings are right there. So let's just click on settings manager, and we will go ahead and maximize that so you can see it. And up here, you've got appearance, you've got clipboard manager, desktop, file manager settings, notifications, panel profiles, window manager tweaks, and you've got Bluetooth, color profiles, display, keyboard, power management, pulse audio volume control, session and startup, login window, add and remove software, settings editor, pretty much what you would expect with any Linux distribution, giving you the availability to do any customization that you want to. So let's go ahead and close out of this. Right click, come back down to applications. You've got file manager, mail reader, web browser. Then down here on settings, you've got your settings manager, which we just looked at. And then most of these right here are the same selections that you have inside your settings manager, but you also have your YAD settings down here too. So if you open that up, your YAD settings editor will come up and basically gives you the availability to customize dialog windows, the height, the width, the border. You can change colors in here if you wanted to. This just gives you full control over customization of your system. So if this is something that you're interested in, you've been in Linux for a while and you want to play around with it, it is available inside Xero Linux XFCE. If you're not and you're new to Linux, I would probably stay away from this till I did some more reading or watched a few more videos about it. So I'm going to go ahead and close. Back over to applications. Then you've got accessories. You've got application finder, catfish file, Compton, Plank, screenshot, software token, task manager, development, Genie, icon browser, graphics, Ristretto image viewer, internet. You got Firefox, multimedia, Pulse audio. And then Office, you've got dictionary. So if you want an Office suite, you're going to need to download LibreOffice. And then, of course, if you want any kind of image manipulation program, you're going to want to download GIMP because it doesn't come with it out of the box. And then other, you've got GMRun, then your system. You've got add and remove software, gparted, grsync, login window, Thunar file manager, task manager, XFCE terminal, and then about XFCE, then log out. I do want to open the terminal because what I do want to look at is we are running the Linux kernel 5.15.10-arch1-1, which is awesome. Then you've got XFCE 4.16. Then you got your XF Window Manager 4. Bash is 5.1.12. And then, of course, you got the XFCE 4 terminal. So that is just a quick look at Xero Linux XFCE. Number 3 on my list is Nitrix Linux. They have made some changes to the base operating system that make it just gorgeous. Not to mention the Maui shell that they've come out with that is transferable to tablets and phones. I believe 2022 is going to be a great year for them. Nitrix Linux. This is a really great distribution. I covered it about 3 months ago, but like I said, this is the newest release. You come to their homepage, which I'll make sure to include in the description below. It says, hi there, meet Nitrix. It's powered by Debian, KDE Technologies, and Qt. And it states Nitrix is a Linux desktop distribution directly based on Debian. It uses the Calamares installer and includes the NX desktop and the NX firewall on top of the KDE Plasma 5 desktop. But guys, hold on a second. They've also come out with what's called the Maui shell, and I'm going to cover that in this video as well. It is definitely groundbreaking. It basically is going to be able to be used on a tablet, on a phone, on a desktop, or on a laptop. And when I get done covering this distribution, I will go into detail and show you exactly what Maui shell looks like. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to zip on over to the desktop. And if you download Nitrix, throw it on a USB or open it up into a virtual machine, this is the desktop you are met with. This is the NX desktop on top of the Plasma shell. And as you can tell, you've got one panel up top. You've got a dock down on the bottom. If you come up top to the panel, you've got date and time. If you click on that, this will bring down your NX notifications, your Bluetooth, vaults, night color control, Kde Connect. If you're not familiar with Kde Connect, all you got to do is zip on over to the Android store, download the Kde Connect app, put it onto your phone, then you can sync it up with either your desktop or your laptop, and it gives you all kinds of different things that you can do with your phone on your desktop. Then you have clipboard, so let's go ahead and close out of that. Sound, battery level, and internet. Now, if you right-click on the panel, you've got different layouts. You can do NX bottom panel 2, NX top 2. Now, if you switch that to just the regular panel, it gives you a little smaller panel down at the bottom without your virtual desktops, or you can come back up and put it where it was. Let's go ahead and put that back, and then you get the same, but then you've got your virtual desktops that you can switch to. So let's go back up and right-click. You also can configure your Latte dock. If you click on that, it gives you all kinds of adjustments in here and changes that you can make to your Latte dock. I'm going to go ahead and close back out of that. And then back up top, you can quit Latte. You can add widgets. If you want to click on Add Widgets, it brings up your list of widgets over here. You can go through here, find out what widgets that you like. If you can't find a widget that you like or one you're specifically looking for, you can click on Get New Widgets, find it, download it, install it. Then you can drag it to the system tray or directly to your desktop. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And then, of course, you can add a dock or panel. And, of course, you could edit this panel. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. If you come up top here, you've got your application drop down. If we click on that, it gives you a nice little window right here. You can scroll back and forth between different pages if you've got different pages, but it's only got one. But I'm going to go ahead and drop down to the dock first. Right now, you've got your index, which is your file manager. Let's go ahead and open that up. And there's your file manager. Let's go ahead and make it full screen so you can see it. Okay, we are now full screen. As you can see, it's a very good looking file manager. You've got your usual suspects over here: trash, network, Nitrix. And of course, you can set up your favorites. You can tag them. You can go to home, which is your home folders are right there. That right there is desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, and then of course videos. But this is a nice little file manager. Lets you get things done, kind of stays out of your way. It's a little bit heavier than what I'm used to dealing with, but I think if I play around with it, I'd like it. So I might give this one a test drive for a while just to get used to it and see what we're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Then you've got Noda, which is a note application and text editor. You can come up here and do whatever you need to do up here. You could actually open scripts in here and make adjustments if you needed to. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Then, of course, you have Firefox, and then you have system settings. Let's go ahead and check that out. Let's go ahead and maximize that. And you've got appearance, workspace behavior, window management, shortcuts, startup shutdown, notifications, regional settings, accessibility, applications. So you pretty much have everything that you need in here to make all the regular adjustments you're used to making with your Linux distribution. That way you can customize it pretty much the exact way you want it. And you can look at About System. Let's go ahead and open that up. Right now we're running KDE Plasma 5.23.4. And of course it's got the NX desktop on top of that. Kernel version 5.15.11. Generic. X11 is what you're running, and then it gives you the details on my hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of system settings. Come back down here, and you've got the NX Software Center. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, it's opened up. Let's go ahead and maximize it. Okay, it's maximized. As you can tell up here, you've got some popular application, which is KSnip, XNView, Krita App Image, and then down here you've got different categories: programming, system tools, audio, office, video, internet, graphics, education, and games. And then down here you've got MAUI apps, convergent applications for desktop and mobile computers made with the MAUI kit. And as you can see down here, it shows you these on mobile phones, on tablets. And like I said, I'm going to show you that shell here in a moment. And then you can come down here. You've got an anime game launcher, IPTV Nader. You've got different applications that you could look and download right there. What I'm going to do is go up here and do a search and see if we can get something like OBS Studio. And there it pops up. You can get OBS Screen Recorder, free open source software. So that would be pretty easy to download, put on your system, and then you'd be good to go. So let's go ahead and go back to the main screen. Back on the home page, that's pretty easy, pretty quick. You can do your searches, or you could come down here and go video. You could look for what you might be looking for down here. There's OBS right there. You've got Memento, you've got Webcamoid, Haruna, AvidMux, and then Clip Grab. You've got a lot of different things there. I'm just going to tell you guys, This is a very impressive looking store. I like it. It's pretty snappy in a virtual machine. I need to work on my scroll speed because my mouse isn't scrolling the way I want. But you can come down. It's got quite a large selection of applications for you to download. And I'm going to go ahead and go back up. If you do download this, give it a test drive, definitely take a look at the store. It's very impressive. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Now we're going to come back over here. And then you've got Arc, Booho, Clip, Communicator, Install Nitrix, Inkscape, Index, Heroic Games Launcher. It comes with GIMP out of the box, install itch.io game store, Kcalc. It comes with LibreOffice out of the box. Of course, the NX Software Center we just looked at. Let's go ahead and look at Nitro Share. Okay, this is where you can share from one to the other. I've seen that before. What really bothered me about this in the past is the language in the background. You can't really read it. If I recommended anything, I'd have them darken that up so we could actually read it. What I'm seeing here, it's a desktop application that makes it easy to transfer files. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Let's go ahead and pop back up here. Then you've got Station, Spectacle, Noda, Wave. I'm going to go ahead and open Station. And let's see if they have HTOP installed, which they do. It's running 1.2 gigabytes at rest. Of the 3 gigabytes I have issued to it, it's a middle upper weight, obviously, distribution. But still, it is a very beautiful distribution. I like the overall look and feel of it. I'm going to go ahead and close back out of this. And what is this up here that just... Nitro Share is still open. So let's go ahead and exit that. Now, if you download this and want to give it a test drive and you want to take a look at the Maui shell, I'm getting ready to show you how to do that. All you got to do is come over here, open your app menu, go over here to where it says leave. Click on leave and log out. Okay, once it's logged out, it'll bring you back to the login screen. And once you're here, if you look up here, upper left, it says desktop session plasma. Go ahead and click on that, and we're going to go to Cask X11, click on it. Now remember guys, this is a developmental shell. So if you go in here and have some issues, it's expected. It's a work in progress, so just understand that. Once you have Cask X11 checked, come down here, it's going to have Nitrix on password. There is none, just hit enter. And when it opens up, you can tell you've got a whole new look. You've got more of a mobile look or more of a tablet look. Up here, you've got your notifications. If you click on that, it shows you right here. You can clear your notifications. You can turn them on. You can turn them off. And then, of course, right here, you've got time and your calendar. So you have your date and time right there. Now, if you come over to the right, if you open that up, you can shut down, restart, or quit. And then it gives you your battery level. And then you have sound, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, mic, screenshot, brightness, and then settings. And then over here, you've got an arrow out. Let's go ahead and arrow that out. Let's see what else we have here. It just lets us see what we already had. And then you've got your headphones if you've got a player going on in the background. So we can close out of that. And then if you come down here, I believe this will give you your apps, which it does. It's got all applications, development, games. Then you've got graphics, system, your office. What I do want to see is if the software center works inside of here. NX Software Center, let's open that up. Okay, so the Software Center will open up in the Maui shell, and you're getting kind of the same look you were getting a while ago. We can scroll. It is a little bit laggier in the Maui shell, but that's to be expected. It is in development, but I really like the overall look that they're going for. Even for a desktop, I like the look that they're going for the simple fact you can just come down here, and that opens up. It doesn't take up the full screen, just gives you more space. I really like that. Let's go ahead and click on that. And everything is really aesthetically pleasing to look at. Number 2 on my list is Manjaro Deepen. One of the main reasons I put this one on the list is because of the Deepen desktop environment. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's making leaps and bounds being pulled from its main OS and transferred over to good operating systems. We are at Manjaro's website, which is manjaro.org. I will put that in the description below. And you can go over here and you can click on Try Manjaro. And it'll bring up XFCE, which I've covered, Plasma, and then, of course, GNOME. Now, if you want to give Deepen a shot, all you got to do is go up to the additions, go to Community, and there's Manjaro Deepen right there. You just click on it, and it'll give you the option to download it right here. And you can do that by torrent, or you can do it by standard download. So let's go back to the main page. And they've got quite a bit of information here. It covers features, donate, shop, news, more. You can go to their forum should you have any problem. But it's a really good website. Manjaro is a really solid distribution. So if you have any problems, you can pretty much get everything solved at their website. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of their website. And if you download Manjaro Deepen, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine, this is the screen you're met with. It's a very beautiful distribution. I like the panel on the bottom. I like the way it's set up. And the beauty of this is if you don't like this setup, but you like the overall look, all you got to do is right click, go to mode, click on efficient mode, and it gives you that more old school feeling mode down there. And then you still have everything over here on your right. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in fashion mode because I like the way it looks. And you also get Manjaro Hello. I love the hello screens and I love the welcome screens in Linux distributions. I like to call it quick information for the person that is either one, first coming to this distribution and they're not familiar with it, or two, somebody that's brand new to Linux and it kind of helps them out. But you've got documentation, you've got the README, you've got release info, and you've got the wiki. And then over here on support, should you have a problem, you can go straight to forums from here. Discover software, mailing lists, project. If you want to get involved or be part of the development, you can help out here. Or if you just like the project overall and you want to donate and help them out monetarily, you can just click on that, zip over and help them out. And then, of course, you can launch the Calamares installer from right there. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Manjaro Hello. And if you right click on the desktop, you get new folder, new document, auto arrange. You can adjust your icon sizes. Right now, they're on small. You could jump them up to medium if you wanted to. That's really up to you and your preferences. If you don't want them on there at all, you can change that in settings as well. Select all, open terminal, display settings, and then, of course, wallpaper and screensaver. You can click on that. And it's got a nice, neat way down here for you to change your wallpaper. There are different wallpapers you can choose from. You can go with something like that or like that. It changes really quickly. But you get a decent choice of wallpapers to take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that one for now. I want to darken it up a little bit so we can see everything a little better. If you come down to the bottom, you've got one panel. You got your notifications here, trash, date and time, power, keyboard. And then over here, you've got your internet, sound, and then updates. Now, if you want to hide these right here, you just click on this little arrow and they disappear. Kind of gives you a little extra room there on your dock or / panel, whatever you want to call it. And then in the center, you've got your file manager. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This is your Deepen file manager. And as you can tell, it is a very good looking file manager. It's beautiful. It's cohesive. It goes along with the theme of the operating system. And it's just really good looking. Now, what I do want to do here real quick, just give me a second. I want to go ahead and switch this over to a dark mode. Let's go ahead and personalize. Go to dark. There, everything switched over to a dark mode. I just like dark mode better. I think it comes off looking better in videos. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you want to make these folders right here bigger, all you got to do is come down to this little scroll bar right here, and you can scroll that up and make them bigger. You can make them smaller. That's really up to you and your personal preference on how you want it to look. I'm going to go ahead and close out of it. And then, of course, you've got album, your photo album. Now, Deepen comes with its own set of applications, your music, your videos, and then, of course, your photos. And it goes right along with everything else. And as you can tell, it's in effects mode. So you get the rounded corners on your windows as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Come back down here and you get your music player. And as you can see, it has the same rounded corners and the same theme. I like what Deepen Desktop does by integrating everything and having their own apps to go along with that. Now, I have had people that have used the Deepen OS, not the Deepen Manjaro, that just love the OS, but they don't like the fact that it's built in China, so they don't use it. That's one beautiful thing about Manjaro is we can go in and get the desktop environment loaded on top of Manjaro. Then you don't have all that telemetry and things that you're worried about in the regular Deepen OS. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Exit, confirm. And then you also have calendar. If you open up your calendar, and that gives you your nice calendar right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Let's go over to settings. I like the way their settings is set up. Let's go ahead and check accounts. This right here gives you your main account. This is your Manjaro account. Once you install it, this will be your administrative account. It'll have your name here. You can go ahead and customize the picture if you want to. You can have it auto log in or not auto log in without password if you want to, so on and so forth. Then you've got display. Come down here, we're at 100% brightness. You can set your resolution right here. You also have display scaling right here and color temperature. If you want to make that look a little warmer or you want to make adjustments there, you can as well. Default applications. You come over here and set up, let's say you download something other than Firefox and you want to use that as your default browser. You can come over here and set that up. Same thing with mail, text editor, music, video, pictures, and terminal. Personalize. We just come over here a while ago to change the theme. I'm going to go ahead and maximize that so y'all can see everything. We've changed it to a dark theme. If you want to change your accent color, you can. You've got red, orange, you've got the dark blue, you've got purple, you've got a gray. The gray is kind of too light for me. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the light blue. Your window effects are on. Transparency is at 0.4. Window minimization, you can scale it. You can magic lamp it if you want to. And then rounded corners, you can adjust those if you want them small or large or medium. You can do all that right here. You've got your icon theme. Right now we're running on Bloom. You've got several to choose from. I'm going to leave it on Bloom because I do like the icon theme, but you could switch it to, let's say, Vintage. And as you can tell down here, all of your icons have changed. And then you go back to Bloom and they all change back. That's what you expect from a professional OS. Cursor theme. Right now we're on the Bloom theme. I'm going to leave it there, but you've got Bloom Dark, Breeze, X Cursor. There's just a few different themes there to choose from. Pick the one you like and go with it. And then, of course, your fonts. Right now we're set on 14. I'm going to leave it there. It lets you know that your standard font is Noto Sans. If you wanted to change that, just click on it. Come down here, pick the font that you want, change it, and then you'll be good to go. Then you've got network. Right now we're on a wired network adapter. And then you've got your DSL, VPN, system proxy, application proxy, and network details. Notification. These right here will show you the notification settings for your operating system. Right now, screen capture does have notifications turned on. If you don't feel those are necessary, you just come over there, click those off. You're good to go. Any other applications you feel that don't need notifications on, you can come over here and just shut them off. And then that way you don't have notifications going off for every little thing you do. That's up to you. Falls back to your personal preference. Then we can go to sound. You've got output. You've got your input, of course, for your microphone, sound effects, and devices. Then you have date and time. You can adjust this. You can set it on 24-hour time. You can set it on regular time. And then, of course, you could go to time settings and your time zone. If you wanted to change your system time zone, let's go over here to something like Central, confirm it. As you can see, it changed right off the bat, and you're good to go. And then time settings. And then, of course, you could change your format. Over to power, general power settings. Just shows you decrease the brightness in power saving mode. It's on a balanced setup. If you wanted to change it to power saver, you could. And then down here, password is required to wake up the computer. Password is required to wake up the monitor. You can leave those on if you want. You can adjust those however you want. And then you could also adjust what things do when it's plugged in to a power source if you're on a laptop. Then you've got mouse, keyboard, system info. That's odd. I clicked on system info and it just shut down the settings app. So let's try this again. System info, there may be a little bug, or it may be because I'm in a virtual machine, but system info will not register for me in the virtual machine. If you download this and give it a try, please come back and let me know if system info worked for you on your virtual machine or on your USB stick. Then we come over to the left. You've got multitasking view. You've got show desktop. Then you have your app launcher. You open it up and you get a nice big full screen look like you get on a GNOME. But one thing I do like about it is if you look over here, you've got these little arrows. Just click on those and it brings it down to a regular size app menu. Now, if you go back up and you come over here, it kind of categorizes. There's your internet, there's your music, there's your video, graphics, office, and development and system. And then, of course, other. And we'll go ahead and take it out of itemized. You've got your file manager, music, movie, screen capture, album, draw, trash, computer, terminal. Let's go ahead and open up terminal. I want to see if they have HTOP installed out of the box, and they do. Right now, at present, I have 3 gigabytes issued to this virtual machine. We are at present using 1.17 gigabytes of it at rest with the terminal open. Now, I do want to say that some of this operating system is running in RAM because we are in a virtual machine. So if you install it, you're probably looking somewhere between 800 and 900 megs to run at rest, which is a mid-weight distribution. But with something that's got a lot of the effects that you want and kind of gives you the beauty that you get out of Deepen, you can kind of expect that. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Close. Let's go back down here. Then you've got Deepen Mail. Deepen Mail is a really nice mail client. But what I am going to tell you is if you use Gmail, you will have to go into your Gmail settings in your Google account and let it have access to less secure apps, or it won't work with this mail client. Just giving you a heads up. You got your text editor. You've got the control center we looked at a while ago with all the settings, system monitor, print manager, calendar, app store. Let's take a look at the app store. And the app store has opened up. Let's go ahead and maximize that. And you've got your suggested up here. And then, of course, you got your categorized messaging, internet, games, development. And then you can also, of course, do your updates from here. But I'm going to do a search after I close that out. Let's do a search for something like OBS Studio. No results. So I guess it's going to have to refresh. You're going to have to refresh it. I'm not going to do that because I'm in a virtual machine. Plus, it needs updates. But that's your app store. Let's exit, confirm. Let's go back down here. Then you've got applications. Let's go over here. You've got GIMP out of the box, document viewer, Firefox, HTOP, home, Manjaro Hello, install Manjaro Linux, Manjaro Settings Manager, Manjaro Notifier. Now, on Settings Manager, it's going to let you do a couple of different things. It'll have your locale settings, your language packs, and then, of course, show you what kernel you're using and give you the ability to update your kernel. Right now, you're on 5.13. I think we've moved up to 5.15. You can download that here and install it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and quit out of that. We'll go back to page 2 and then page 3. You've got Redshift. You've got Root File Manager, Screensaver, MPV Media Player, VLC Media Player, and then, of course, TimeShift. If you're not familiar with TimeShift, this is where you come in and you can make a backup copy of your system. It takes a snapshot of it. If you've installed this on a BTRFS file system, make sure you flip that over to BTRFS. Any other file system, just leave with rsync. Then you want to click Next. When you come over, it'll have your hard drive listed here. You'll click that hard drive, and then you'll click Next. And what it'll do is it'll take a snapshot of that. Because I'm in a virtual box, it's not going to be able to do that, but that's how you do it. So that way, should you encounter any problems with your system or have a catastrophic failure, you can always come back over here and restore it from there. Now, if you do install this, keep the USB stick that you install it from, because if you do have a catastrophic failure, you've got to have a way to get back into a Manjaro setting so you can restore that snapshot. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. One final thing I do want to show you. I showed you the app store down here, the Deepen store. I want you to go up here and search, go to software. You'll see add and remove software right there. Open that up, pull that down, go over here to the 3 dots, click on that, go to preferences, go to third party, and enable AUR support and enable check for updates. Then you can go back to general, and what you'll want to do from right here is where it says use mirrors from, go with worldwide. I've had people ask me this question many a times. Why would you go with worldwide? Why wouldn't you pick one closer to you? Because when I use worldwide and I refresh those mirrors, I always seem to download updates and install software quicker than if I pick something that is closer to my location. That's just my experience with it. So if you have a different experience, please let me know in the comments below. Once you have that selected worldwide, go ahead and refresh mirrors. It takes about 2 to 4 minutes. The mirrors will be refreshed. Then you'll be able to go in and download applications or update your system. First thing I want to check out is if I can do a search for OBS right here. OBS Studio. I'm going to go ahead and enter. And it does bring up the Arch user repository version of OBS Studio. Now, once you refresh your mirrors, it will actually bring up the official repository version of OBS Studio. I just wanted to show you how the search function works. So that's that. So I'm going to close out of that. That pretty much in a nutshell is Manjaro Deepen. And the last one I have on my list is Pop! OS. You're probably asking yourself, why do we need to watch Pop! OS in 2022? Well, because of the recent announcement that they're going to be doing their own desktop environment based on Rust. I believe this is definitely a distribution we need to keep an eye on in 2022. First thing we're going to do is we're at their website, System76. I'll be sure to include that link in the description below, and it tells you a little bit about Pop! OS. It's an operating system for STEM and creative professionals. It's got workflow customization, auto tiling with the Pop shell, workspaces, keyboard navigation, stacking. But one of the reasons I wanted to cover it, guys, is with this new release, they have got some user interface and user experience updates that I think you guys are going to really love. And if you go to the download, they still have the download for 2110, download for 2110 NVIDIA, and now download for 2110 for the Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, this is where you can get their new release. If you want to go with the long-term support, it's still there. all you got to do is click on that, but there is no Raspberry Pi support. So right now I'm going to close out of the website and we're going to go over and check out the operating system. Okay, if you download Pop! OS, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine and boot into it, this is the screen you're met with. Now up here you'll see that you have a panel. Down here you have a dock. Up on the panel you've got battery, sound, and internet. And then of course right here you've got your tiling windows. I'm going to show you those real quick. Let's say you open up File Manager, you open up Terminal, you open up the Pop Shop. And as you can see, all of these are just scattered all over the screen. All you got to do is come up here to the tiling, click on it, and go ahead and click Tile Windows. Then you can come do your work. If you wanted to get into your File Manager, you could, and carry on over here in the Terminal. And then, of course, the Pop Shop's down here. That's up to you. If that's something you want to use, it comes in handy if you're somebody that multitasks a lot. But that's something I definitely wanted to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and I'm going to go ahead and close these windows out. Now, if you come over to the center of the top panel, you've got date and time. It lets you know right here you do have an update available. And then right here is your calendar, and then, of course, today's events if you had any. And then select a weather location and do not disturb. If you don't want your notifications to disturb you, just click those off. Or you can clear your notifications right there with that button. Now, if you do want to set up your weather, just click on Select Weather Location. Go ahead and put in what city you're nearest. I'm going to go ahead and put in Dallas. Click on that. And once that pops up, you can adjust the temperature unit. I do believe right now it's in Celsius. I'm going to go ahead and switch that to Fahrenheit. And then there you have your weather set up. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And then if you come back up here, you'll see that your weather is now on your drop-down menu. Now, if you want to come up here to your calendar and you want to look at your events, all you got to do is click in your events and it'll bring up your calendar. You can go in here and you can set up an event. Let's say you had an event for today. Let's make it a personal event. And then you can edit the details of the event. You want it to be all day? No. You can put a start time. You can put an end time. Let's go ahead and make it 1 a.m. Okay, that's set. Click done. And then it lets you know right there you have a personal event starting at 12 a.m. If you close out of that and then come back up here, it shows you your scheduled items. So there you go. Now, over here you also got applications and you've got workspaces. And when you open up workspaces, it actually gives you a different background. So let's go ahead and close those. Go back over here. Now, if you're used to using Pop! OS, you'll know for a fact that when you come down here to open up your applications, you used to get a full wall that covered your whole background. You don't get that anymore. When you click on it to open it, it's a smaller area, okay? It's conservative. It doesn't take up the whole screen. Plus, you have categories, library, office, system. And then you can also create your own folders if you wanted to. So let's come down here and let's just make this one tools. Now you have a tools folder here. You could go in there and put your text editor in there if you wanted to. And let's go ahead and put the terminal. Now you've got library home. You've got your office. You've got your system. You've got your tools. You've got utilities. It just makes things a lot easier to work with. And if you notice, it looks a little better with not taking up the whole screen. You may disagree. If you do, let me know in the comments below. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of the applications. Another update that System 76 has included in this release is the fact that if you're using multiple monitors, whatever screen your mouse is on, when you open your application menu, that is the screen that's going to open on, as opposed to your main one. So if you're working on the center monitor and you have a left and right monitor that you're doing something else on, if you've got your mouse on the center monitor and you open the application menus, that's where it'll open up. If your mouse is on the right monitor, that's where it'll open up. So, mouse-focused application opening. That's pretty big deal for those of you using multiple monitors. You come down here, you've got Show Launcher. You can click that. You can type to search apps or type for more options. You can just type in search. You can search Gear Email, user, screenshot, sharing, startup systems, weather, videos. So let's get out of that. And then right here, you can show your workspaces. If you had more than one workspace, it would click on it. It would show them all to you. Then you have your applications. You got Firefox. We've already looked at that. Let's look at your file manager. Okay, your file manager has opened up. And as you can see, it's a light file manager. Over here, you got your usual suspects. You've got your home folders right here. It's very clean. You can go down here and you can adjust the way it displays everything. You can make those folders bigger if you wanted to. It's just a nice, lightweight file manager that makes it easy to get work done and stays out of your way. So let's close out of that. Then we're going to go ahead and check out Terminal. Now it's opened up. I want to see if they have HTOP installed, and it does not. Let's see if they have top. Yes, top is there. At present, I have 3 gigabytes of RAM issued to this machine at rest with just the terminal open. Pop! OS is using about 947 megabytes, so it's a mid-weight operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Then you have the Pop Shop. This is how you install applications on your system, and it is opened up, so let's go ahead and maximize that. I've always liked the look of the Pop Shop. If you look up top, it's got a nice little banner, and then below it, you've got Pop Picks, you've got Lutris, Alacrity, Mattermost, Virtual Machine Manager. You also got categories down here. You got accessories, you got audio, you can click on it. It's got ATI, Adobe Flash, Ardour. You could go back, click on communication, and it brings up different communication programs. So you could go through there and you could go by categories, or you could do a search up here. Let's say we were looking for something like OBS Studio. Let's go ahead and do a search for it. And as you can see, OBS Studio comes up right there if you just click on it. And it'll let you know right here that you can get it from FlatHub, or you can get it directly from the Ubuntu repository. So let's go back. And you could do another search. Let's check out Kdenlive. There's Kdenlive. Let's go ahead and open it up. And it is available through the FlatHub and Flatpaks, as well as the Ubuntu repository. So you've got several different ways of getting software installed, whether it's from a Flatpak or whether it's from the Ubuntu repositories. So I'm going to back out of this. If you go over here, it says installed. It shows that we have an update. The operating system has 15 components with updates. It's about a 13 megabyte update, and then it itemizes them for you here. I'm not going to do that at present, but that's how you download software and how you update your system in Pop! OS. So let's go ahead and close out of that. That right there is install Pop! OS, and then of course you have your settings. Let's go ahead and open those up. And with your settings, you have network. Right now it shows that we're connected to a wired connection because we are in VirtualBox. You can set up a VPN right here or a network proxy. You have that capability. Then you have your Bluetooth. Then you have desktop, which gives you your general, your background. You get a few different backgrounds here you could choose from. Appearance. You can also change from a light mode to a dark mode. I'm just going to leave it in dark mode. And then you have the dock. You can enable or disable a dock. That's up to you. You can extend the dock to the edges like it is, or you can make it smaller so it's taking up a little less space down here. Then show launcher icon in the dock, workspaces in the dock, applications in the dock, icon click action, launch or cycle through the window, which is what we want it to do. Dock visibility, you can set it for always visible, always hide. You could set that, and it would disappear and would not come back up until you hovered over it. But because I'm in virtual machine, that's going to keep messing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that back up. Dock size, right now it's on medium. You can set it for small, large. You can even set a custom size if you wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it on medium. And then, do you want it on the bottom of the screen? Do you want it along the left side? You can switch it over there, or you can switch it to the right side. I kind of favor the sides because you do have monitors today that are obviously wider than they are tall, so that gives you a little bit more room there. And then your workspaces, you can make adjustments to those as well. So let's go ahead and back that up. Then you've got notification settings you can adjust on, applications, privacy, connectivity checking. If this is a laptop and you're going to different places out there that offer free Wi-Fi, you could leave that on and it would let you know when you were in range of one. I usually would keep that off. Location services, I keep that off. Thunderbolt, file history, and trash, screen lock. Then we come back over. Then you've got your online accounts. If you've got Google accounts or Nextcloud, Microsoft, Foursquare, whatever you might have, you can come up in here and log into those accounts so you have access to them right here on your operating system. Now, if you have Google Mail, Microsoft Mail, or anything like that, when you log into your email account that comes on Pop! OS, it automatically uses those accounts for your email, so you don't have to actually do it twice. It just syncs up. Sharing, sound, power, displays. This is where you set your resolution, mouse and touchpad, keyboard, firmware, about, OS upgrade and recovery. You can go over to about and let you know you're in Pop! OS. It is 21.10, 64-bit, GNOME version 40.40, and windowing system is X11, and then virtualization is Oracle. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And then if you come over and look at your applications, you got calculator, calendar, files, Geary for your mail client, what we were just talking about a while ago. Then if you go to Office, you got LibreOffice, and then System. You've got Advanced Network Configuration, Disk Usage Analyzer, Power Statistics, Startup Apps. Startup apps come in handy for the simple fact that sometimes every now and then you will download a piece of software that automatically injects itself into the auto start. If it does, you can just come over here, pick out that piece of software, come over here and click remove, and it would stop starting up when you booted up your system. So let's close out of that. And then we'll open back up. We were at System. Let's go over to Tools. I had Terminal, Text Editor, which I put in there. And then Utilities, Archive Manager, Eddy, Extensions, Fonts, Show Workspaces, Screenshot, Videos, Help, USB Flasher. And then, of course, Create New Folder, which we're not going to do. Let's go ahead and cancel out of that. And let's back out of that. Well, that's a quick look at Pop! OS 21.10. I think the user interface updates are awesome. I think the user experience updates are going to work out real well for people, and I think it's going to be popular. But let me know what you think. Is this something you might download, throw on a USB, put in a virtual machine, and take for a test drive? Let me know in the comments below. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.